People are done with the status quo, and they're ready to break things to force change. And so, real talk, right? So in comes Donald Trump, casting himself as the change agent, but with empty promises to the American people. Under his leadership, we all know prices are up, inflation is up, unemployment is up, health care costs for millions of Americans are about to double. We all know that in the midst of all this, the truth and reality of the moment, that just a few days ago, he said the economy was, I had to count the pluses, they're 5. A plus, 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 plus. That's what he said when asked, rate the economy. A plus, 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 plus. There is nothing A plus about any of this.
So we mourn the loss of 3 great patriots in Syria. You know how it happened. It was an ambush, terrible. We also have 3 wounded. They seem to be doing pretty well. But we mourn the loss. These are 3 great people. And it's just a terrible thing. Syria, by the way, was fighting along with us. The new president of Syria is, as they told me, and I'm not surprised, he's devastated by what happened. This was an ISIS attack on us and Syria. And again, we mourn the loss and we pray for them and their parents and their loved ones. Very, very sad.
Mr. President, will the U.S. retaliate against ISIS?
Yeah, we will.
And will U.S. forces are attacked again?
You're going to be seeing.
And should the U.S. still be?
We will retaliate. Thank you very much.
But Anna, one thing that stands out to me is the people whose faces are not redacted as compared with images where we can see that the women have faces that are redacted or blurred out. That suggests to me that either the estate and or the committee believe that some of these women are either minors and or survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Hey guys, Carlos Cortez here, on the go like usual. With my son. We're going to his hockey games. Say what's up, Nathaniel. And so this first part of this podcast is going to be actually here. And then I will record later in the studio and talk about charts and what to expect in the last 2 weeks of this year. Pretty exciting stuff going into 2026. Like I was talking about AI and business development. If you own a business, you're definitely going to want to pay attention. Like and subscribe our channel. Now on YouTube, Scriptures in Wall Street, as well as on Rumble. We've always been on Rumble. Please go over there and like and subscribe. Even though we get hundreds of thousands of views on my show, for some reason we don't have a lot of subscribers. So I need your help. If you could push and like that subscribe button either on YouTube or Rumble. And word on the street is we're going to be on Spotify and also pretty much all the audio platforms. So I'm pretty excited about that as well. That way we can somewhat monetize the channel and keep on doing what we've been doing for the past 4 years. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. This podcast is nothing but information and education purposes only. I am not giving financial advice. Although we talk about financial concepts, I am a financial advisor. And so everything on this podcast is meant for information, education purposes only. I cannot give financial advice on a podcast. But if you would like financial advice, then give us a call at 813-448-3446 or visit us at cortezwm.com. What's interesting is this week we got a lot of calls just on Social Security alone. And for some reason, there's a lot of social influencers talking about Social Security, saying that they need to take Social Security at 62, take it early, even if you don't need it, and put it in investments, like buy stocks on auto, like on Robinhood, or, on a QQQ fund, or just have an auto drip, direct reinvestment program, so to speak, utilizing Social Security. So I want to take that and really talk about what that really means from a professional standpoint. It's illegal to give advice to someone about their retirement if you aren't a licensed fiduciary. So that knocks out about 99% of those knuckleheads on TikTok saying that you need to take Social Security out, because that is detrimental to your retirement, period. If you want to do a blanket statement, you're better off saying take it at FRA, which they probably don't even know what FRA means. Full retirement age is what that means. And you don't get to determine what your full retirement age is. The government does. Do I need to talk about how much control the government has over your money? I think you already know. I don't really need to talk about the track, trace, and control agenda. You already know. I don't need to talk about the FDIC and the lower interest rates. You already know. So when it comes to your basic welfare program that you signed up unwillingly or willingly, and even the immigrants that are here right now, they're paying into it. So if we get rid of them, the Social Security at 2033 will be gone before 2033. Look, I'm a right winger. I'm a Hispanic. I'm here legally. I don't like that we got a lot of illegals here. I can't stand it. My father came here legally, fought for our country, came on a student visa, married my mom out of the country in Nicaragua, did it the right way. And guess what? He got his citizenship. He fought for our country. Like, you want to be here legally, then take a bullet in the ass for our country. Like, put the uniform on. And I know, like, women and children can't put the uniform on like the men, but we need to create a program where they could, someone in their family could request their wives and kids only if they have good behavior, if they're not a freaking criminal, going on the subways and ripping people's necks off, or the elderly. Like, this is disgusting. I'm from North Carolina, to see the Charlotte, I'm not from Charlotte, I'm from Raleigh, but to see Charlotte have this problem with just murdering people, innocent people, in the subways or the light rail system or the buses, just is disgusting. We need God's going to deal with those people in his way. So the government will deal with those people however they want. But God's got an answer for them. And if you don't humble yourself, God will. And we forget that we serve a God that is not just graceful, but he's also an entity, a deity of justice. So, and I wouldn't want to play with that, as you guys know. So the Social Security thing had me tripping, because you don't get to take Social Security at 62 and pray that you have awesome retirement. First and foremost, you don't know how long you're going to live. That's the other issue. Like, if you got good genes, then wait, defer your Social Security. By the way, when you defer your Social Security, guys, and you suspend it, you're making 8% compounding on that monthly full retirement age. So the way it works is, when you download your Social Security statement from ssa.gov, go over there right now. And if you can't log online, then call them, or they even have a chat bot on their website, I believe, and you can request an appointment on the phone. So you don't have to leave your home anymore. So you can request a time to go to ssa.gov, see how much they are going to pay you, and at FRA. So for those of you that don't know full retirement age, you have to go to ssa.gov, put your birth date in. You could Google this, you could chat GPT it, you can do all these things. Find out what your full retirement age is. This is essential for any retirement. Here's the thing, Social Security, for many of you listening to this, could be the number one asset in your retirement. So you better get it right and not listen to these TikToker knuckleheads that are saying, oh yeah, take Social Security early, or the bro investors, or the someone at the coffee pot at work saying, oh, I'm gonna take Social Security early at work. You're going to get screwed. You're going to get screwed. 50% of your money over your earnings test while you are on Social Security I'm sorry, before full retirement age, taking Social Security. So let's just say your full retirement age is 67. For many of you, I know my listener age based. Generally, you guys are like 45 to 65, around there, great age, and you're actually considering retirement early, and I'm helping you with that, and I'm trying to grab your hand and walk you through, handhold you through all the creeks and stop signs and the rough patches. But guys, the laws, once you start dealing with qualified contracts with the government, and your IRA is a qualified contract, a partnership with the IRS, you are going into a whole nother realm where it's not about rate of return, it's not about NVIDIA, it's not about how much money you make. It is about preservation of your assets. It is also about the taxation on your assets. Am I losing money in my IRAs? Now, if you lose money in your IRAs, you can never write it back. This is why Green Money Solutions was invented, so that you have a place, an option to protect your principal. And the second objective is to grow your money. The first one is to protect it. That's the first goal here, guys. So don't get all greedy with the QQQs and NVIDIA and all this crap and AI. I'm going to miss out. That's the wrong thinking. That's when FOMO kicks in. This is when the bad habits kick in. So 2 Timothy 1:7, my favorite verse in the Bible, says, I have not given you the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind, or sound discipline. When you say I don't have enough and I got to grow and I got to participate in the AI, boom, that is fear kicking in. That's called FOMO, fear of missing out. It's a fear. And that's when we start making our mistakes. That's when we start doing things the wrong way. Well, not on my watch. I'm here to call out that fear. I'm here to call out reality. I'm here to speak the truth. And the truth is that we got a lot of illegals paying into Social Security right now. We kind of need them because no one wants to work as a W-2 employee. Everybody wants to do 1099. So we got to figure it out. We can't just kick them out and hope that we get our Social Security too. We got to figure it out quick. I say we take these illegals, put them in a uniform, they don't want it, or make them pay the golden ticket, few million, tax them a few million. I don't care. But we got to figure it out, because our generation, my generation, your generation will not have Social Security. I guarantee you that. We kick every single illegal out that's paying with an EIN, by the way. I don't know how they do it. And I'm not talking about the Mexicans and the Hispanics. It's the Indians, it's the Canadians, it's the Russians, it's the Brazilians, it is Europeans, all of them that are legally here. It's not just Hispanics. They're coming up here, and it's like, dang, man, we built this whole economy as of recent, not all of it, as of recently. During the past 2 administrations, we built it artificially on the backs of these immigrants. Yeah, we gave them, $5,000 a month in bodega cards and grocery gift cards. And we were paying them like ungodly amount of money. We got to tax the heck out of them. We got to penalize them financially. But we also need to figure a way how we can monetize this to our benefit. The whole tariff thing is a distraction. Like, I'm not waiting on my Trump check for $2,000. I hope you're not either. And we get the call like, hey, should I be paying my taxes? That's up to you and God and whoever program that you want to use. Just know that it's going to be very difficult to move money around. It's going to be very difficult to open up a bank account. It's going to be very difficult to even transport, to go to your kids' games, to travel if you're a citizen of your state and not a citizen of the United States. That is a very, very, very dangerous game to play. Something I don't recommend, because you almost have to be a part of the system in order to play the game and to play smart. And so with that, I just kind of want to make sure that you guys are aware that when you decide not to pay taxes and you want to fight the straw man, so to speak, you can do that legally. I've seen it successfully, but it doesn't come with a lot of headaches and problems. And the question is, are you willing to do those headaches and problems at the expense of missing out in the market, at the expense of not being able to borrow and have a mortgage or buy an aircraft or use debt for your benefit? I personally don't want to do that. I'd rather pay taxes at a very low rate, which we can do aggressively and legally, and fly underneath the radar, so to speak, and still have a driver's license and still have the passport and pay taxes at very low rates. You don't have to do all that and not be jabbed and have freedom and travel and take Social Security, no problem. So what I'm here to talk about is speaking the truth. And so when we have a relationship with Jesus, he gives us provisions. He gives us, he takes care of us in Matthew 6, right? Doesn't he say that he can provide for the lilies and the birds in the air? And how much greater are you as a child of God? He can provide for all your needs. And also in Romans, it does discuss that all things work for the greater good for those who love him. So we don't need to walk in fear. We absolutely don't need to have fear of missing out. We don't need to have any of these fears, because if we love God, he takes care of us. And even more so, if you want to get financially secured, Malachi 3 is going to be your verse. Malachi 3. He literally says, if you pour into him, he'll pour into you. He says, try me. Bring the first fruits to him. Whether that's 10%, 15%. I have brothers in my community that literally tithe 50% because they started out with the tithe of 10% and God gave them more. And they literally live on half of their income. The other half goes to the kingdom. And what's beautiful is they even have like these separate accounts, foundations, where they donate their own foundations. And every year they write a big 6-figure check to whatever foundation or organization they feel led to give to, not necessarily the church. And God has blessed them with more money and more influence and more power and more and more and more. But yet we are so focused on ourselves. We're so focused on like ratings and views and narcissistic things. Me, how I look, how I do this, how I make more money, how I get more influence, like all this junk. But no one talks about the New Year's resolution of, hey, I want to grow closer to God. I want to grow a better relationship with my spouse. I want to have a better relationship with my kids. It's all about looking good and making money. And I'm here to tell you that I know how to make money. I know how to take care of myself. And it has nothing to do with any of those things that all of the world wants to see. You know, I was at this conference 2 years ago. Financial advisors, money hungry guys, conference, and a very secular setting. And I knew most of these guys for the past 10 years. They saw me when I used to do seminars. Like I used to go to these restaurants, pay mailers to see people, to basically have people come hear me speak. And then I would pay for their meals and hopefully they would hire me as their financial advisor, or at least someone to talk to. Hopefully. I'm $10,000 in each event, and I did over 70 events every single year. Mind you, I have kids, I have a wife, and it was just a poor lifestyle. And I'm a worship leader at church. It just was a bad situation. It wasn't effective. So come to find out, podcasting was my way out. Like I met Stu 6 years ago. And then we basically talked about COVID and things just worked. And it was because I was really, really tithing that time. I still am. But God just blessed me with a platform where I never had to walk into a library or do another in-person seminar, nor will I ever. It's not fun. I don't like feeding people and plate lickers and entitlement and dealing with people starving themselves because they knew I was going to give them a nice meal, and they were just there for the meal, not for the content. So I stopped that style of marketing, and now I get to pick and choose who I want to work with, right? So it's awesome, man. So, and it's because of you guys completely watching our show, Scriptures in Wall Street, and just me. I get to be myself. I don't have to put a mask on. When I was publicly speaking, no lie, I would say, raise your hand if you voted for Trump. Raise your hand if you voted for Biden. And half the room would raise their hand for Biden. The other half would raise their hand for Trump. And some of them just walked out. Actually, about 60% of the room walked out. And at that time, I didn't know the difference between left and right. You know, it's all the same now. I would never ask that because they're both wrong. You know, I would ask basically, like, who's a conservative? Who believes in the Constitution? That's the right question. Who has a relationship with God and believes in the right Constitution? And most people will raise their hand to that, but they don't live it. They don't act it. So anyways, back in the day when I answered that, half the people left, and I would just give them a gift card and said, thank you for your time. I don't want you to go home hungry, but here's a gift card. You're not going to like what I'm going to talk about. And the other people stayed, and those are the people that I wanted to work with. And it just didn't work out financially when I did that because I got tired of people pleasing. I got tired of like acting as if. I was told in the business early on that never talk about politics and money, never talk about religion, and those things will push clients away. You want to be able to work with everyone. So wait, I'm supposed to change the way I believe, not be bold about what I believe in and what I'm passionate about, just so I can get business, so that you can make money off of me? What? Yeah, we're not doing that. So, long story short, this is why I invented this podcast, and I'm so grateful that you guys are here, because if you're listening to this, we're aligned financially, spiritually, mentally, and I want to be able to work with you going into 2026. There's going to be a lot of things that you need to know about the banks. There's going to be a lot of things that you can take advantage of as far as ETFs and some trades. There's things that we need to work on protecting your assets. It's not just stock market related. It is basically more than just rate of return now. It is, how do I keep my money safe from the banks? How and when do I take Social Security? How and when do I create a will and a trust? Like, how long is my money going to last? How much taxation is on my 401k? Do I even own my 401k? Those are some serious questions. The standard deviation of my portfolio, how much I'm paying fees, what's my actual risk? These are questions you should be asking currently right now. If you don't know those answers, then give us a call. We'll help you figure them out. No pressure. I don't need everybody's business. I don't want to work with everybody. I don't need to. And quite frankly, like, I offend a lot of people by design. Because if you're offended, then you're not a right fit for me. I'm not desperate. I don't have commission breath. I'm really passionate about helping people. And, you know, I'm 42 years old. Been doing this for 21 years. I have to get close haircuts because I have gray hairs all over the place now. So, but anyways, I'm going to sign off, and part 2 is going to show up right now, and we're going to talk about charts. And I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel, and check out getmeleanusa.com. I'm working on some cool websites for you guys that you're going to get blown away. and some cool AI tools to give to all of our business owners. And also, I'm still working on my inner circle, the legality of it. So my inner circle made over 105% this year, making some risk trades, right? Some red money trades. And if you don't know what red money is, it's unlimited losses, unlimited gains, but also going to 2026 as the Fed continues to lower interest rates, maybe in January. I really don't know what they're doing, but as they lower interest rates, the banks will suffer. And if you got money in the banks, you need to be very, very careful about how you're taking money out and also protecting it. So we want to help you. Interest rates are still pretty good, but by December 31st, I'm pretty sure they're going to be dropping again. So if you go to greenmoneysolutions.com, you can see what the bonuses are right now. Option 4 is actually dropped from 15 to 12%. A great program, and no fees, no risk. We're getting the QQQ growth index. You're going to want to have some type of technology exposure safely. A lot of people are getting growth through the NASDAQ because of the AI takeover. 2026, you are basically wanting to have that type of exposure for you without the risk, without the fees. We're getting 75% right now of the QQQ growth index. I cannot stress it enough. That is so much better than putting your money in the bank for long-term money. If you're okay with having access to 10% a year and having a contract that says my principal is protected. Yeah, it is an insurance product. So the insurance companies have some of the best deals because they're bypassing probate. Thus, we invented Green Money Solutions. I don't want to get into a ramble on Green Money Solutions, but you can go to greenmoneysolutions.com. Also known as CortezWM.com is just a marketing arm, online brochure, but a bunch of information there. And then basically you got to give us a call, a 10-minute call to make sure it's right for you. We want to answer all the questions that you have so that you know exactly what it is, and that we can help you, simply put. Well, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to be going to my son's hockey game, pray for him, and check out this. Like, this was really awesome. This was a chapel service the other day, and it's just more than hockey over here. It's about knowing who Jesus is and making an impact. So God bless you guys.
Come on, let's declare it together with one voice today.
Don't buy an annuity unless you know how to double your money within 4 to 6 years. I'm talking about no fees, principal protection. The market goes down, you lose nothing. You get an annual statement because your money's not invested in the stock market. It's only credited by the index. And what is the number one index that I can find? That's going to be the NASDAQ. That's going to be AI. That's going to be technology. That's going to be healthcare technology. What are you doing not investing in that? You want to be able to have access to a principal protected account with no fees that has complete growth. If we look at the actual index, if you look at the NASDAQ, in 08, NASDAQ was down 41%. We made 53% the following year, a 19%, a 2%, a 16%. In 01 and the dot-com bombs, we made 49, a 10, a 1. And so right now the NASDAQ is down. It's a great time to get in. When Trump got in 2016 to 2020, the NASDAQ yielded over 100%. You can now effectively get into the NASDAQ without risking your principal, have principal protection, have no annual fees, and get your gains locked in. This is not found in your mainstream broker. This is not found on Wall Street. As a former stockbroker, I wish I had access to this to my clients. Give us a call. We want to help you, and we can work with all 50 states. God bless. So for the first part, obviously, I was in the car. So what we need to understand is I'm going to be shifting over to the charts because at the end of the day, the charts is what matters. And so we'll look at the first one I want to look at is obviously the volatility index, because as we see, there is not a lot of volatility right now, but the calm before the storm. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. So let's take a quick look at the volatility index. For those of you that don't know what the volatility index is, it is a measurement of the fear and greed index. Pretty much the things the footing that you feel at an institutional and retail level, macro and micro level, is basically expressed in this chart. And so the volatility index is a key component to a lot of these things of where the market's going, how the market's doing. And for those of you that don't understand the VIX, you cannot buy the VIX as an ETF. It is basically a sector. However, you can buy an ETF that mirrors the VIX. And there's even leverage ETFs. There's VIXI and there's UVIX. And I believe there's another one out there. But primarily those two are the real popular ones. So what we actually see here in the volatility index is anything over 18 is going to be high. Anything under 16 means the stock market generally is popping back up. There's a little Santa rally. So look at this number on the bottom. We're seeing 2026. So the year is pretty much wrapped up here. The last 2 weeks of trading are just very, very light. Typically, people are trying to, taking their gains, tax harvesting. Day traders, swing traders, or are trying to, maybe they had some bad trades, some losses this year, and they had some good wins on some trades. So what they do is typically is they go ahead and sell some of their short-term gains to offset some of their short-term losses and vice versa. So they call it tax harvesting. So what's interesting is we have a golden cross that was signaled on our weekly chart. Let's go to our daily chart. I'm not looking at the daily due to the fact that, this is it's lagging in the fact that, all the indicators, all 1,000 of them, we have our RSI indicators, we have a AI-based projection buy or sell signal, we have a trend setter, obviously support and resistance is involved. All of these are prepackaged to give us these amazing signals. So anyways, we have a purple box here, which signaling a death cross. So once this 200-day moving average, which is hard to tell on this white background, but once we have the 200-day average, the price hitting the 200-day average, generally what we see is a death cross. And when we get a death cross, you'll see the momentum just really drop in pace. So when this goes down, typically what that means, guys, is that the markets are going up. When the volatility index goes up, that means the stock market's going down. So if I pull up the S&P in April, you'll notice that the market was probably going down. Okay, let's see here. So April, S&P 500. Remember this chart. Let's pull up April real quick. So just so you guys know how this volatility index works. Yep, and here we are. Check it out. You see how the market just plummeted. The S&P, we had a death cross here, 5,900. Back in April of this year, it reached the bottom of 5,100. Literally lost like 10% this year. People were freaking out. So as this market tends to rise, we go back to just remember this chart is the S&P. Look at that growth, that momentum we've had going into 2025. And this is going to be the opposite on the VIX. So let's take a look at the VIX. Remember this chart. Keep it in your frame. Pause the video. Do what you got to do. I haven't looked at it. I just know that that's how generally it works. I could look like a complete failure. And it could be 100% the opposite way. And I did not prepare for this. I'm just trying to educate you guys. And there it is from April. Look how it just goes down and flat. It kind of mirrors the opposite of the S&P 500. Again, let's go back to the S&P 500. Check that out. You see how it's just the slight opposite. And that's how the volatility index works, guys. It's simple. When it goes down, that means the market's going up. When it goes up, that means the market generally is going down. And guess what we have here on a daily? We have a purple box. So whenever we get a purple box, that means there's going to be sell pressure. There's going to be some sell pressure. So it's going to be interesting to see what's happening, particularly because as we look into the banking index, we'll look at KRE. As we look into the banking index now, and I'm on a daily, there's a 4 hour. All right, so we got a golden cross there, which is kind of confusing. Daily. And this is why I say the charts don't lie. Interest rates went down, it's bad for the banks, but look, the stock is going up. This is why we don't get emotional. It goes against the fundamentals that I speak about. It goes against why are the banks pumping up in value? It goes against belief. But this is why, guys, this is why we pay attention to the charts. We don't pay attention to the bro investors. Man, you should see what the bro investors are saying right now about Social Security. Do you know there's influencers out there that are telling people to take Social Security early? Literally, they're telling people to take it early, not knowing that there's an earnings test, not knowing that the money that's coming out from your 401ks and IRAs is considered ordinary income. But because he's bought out by the you-know-whos and he's funded by them, now they're going after social influencers, podcasters, even like myself, to get them, to pay them to say what they want to say, or actually don't even, or brush over it. Guys, this is starting to get crazy, man. Like literally they're paying people to not say stuff. And I have some really, really, really high up contacts. And that was just verified with me. Like for real. For real. There's one, I can't say names, but I know this company that donated shares to some social influencers and they pulled them back. The company actually pulled them back, their shares, because they were compensated these shares to promote a certain company, and they won't because they're getting a check by the you-know-whos to not say anything. This is real talk, man. So KRE doesn't make sense. It's going up. Interest rates are going down.
You have the Clarity bill, you have the Genius bill, you have the stablecoin bill. All these bills are there to change the financial landscape of what is about to come. What are you doing right now to protect your money, your retirement from all these CBDC-like systems that is already track tracing and controlling you? Even more so with the AI revolution that we're in right now. We've been talking about this for so long now, and we are effectively helping clients protect their money, secure their retirement, get out of red money, support your values, support America, and not this CBDC system. They masked it as ESG, they masked it as DEI, they masked it as all these things, but at the end of the day, it's all about track, trace, and control. Been a financial advisor for 20 years now. We know what we're doing, and we want to help God-fearing patriots secure their retirement. God bless. Click the link below if you would like to have a conversation.
I want to eat some crow right now because I'm not perfect. And I totally missed on this one. Totally missed on this one. This is my TMF trade. This is the year-long trade. This is the trade of the year that didn't work out. And it's because the Fed just completely came too late to the party. So this is kind of like an insurance policy on the stock market. If the stock market was a crash, this was supposed to go to the moon. But it is not. Look how flat it's been. As a matter of fact, I've lost 80% of this trade, and that's okay. I mean, I'm okay losing on a trade, especially a year-long trade. I'm okay with that because you can't get all of them right. And that's why I say this is not a recommendation. This is a speculative investment. And let me say my disclosure here, if I didn't already, for everyone watching this. Everything on this podcast is meant for information and education purposes only. I'm not giving investment advice. If you want investment advice, feel free to give us a call, 813-448-3446. Or if you would like us to look at your portfolio, you can call the same number, 813-448-3446. Or you can visit us at cortezwm.com. We can give you a second opinion. Going into 2026, it's going to be fireworks, man. Absolute fireworks. So, yeah, this is a TMF. Now we got a buy signal in November, and then we get a warning of a death cross. It could pop up later this month, but I don't see it, going to the moon like I thought it would. So, yeah, if you put money in it, hopefully you didn't lose too much. But, yeah, this trade has been stagnant. It didn't go anywhere. It just sucks because we knew the Fed was going to lower interest rates, but this particular ETF did not pan out. Now, the TMF is based on a 20-year treasury, which is more PPI driven and not inflation driven or interest rate driven, I would say. Anyways, the 20-year bond is not as volatile as the 10-year bond. And this is the ETF that covers a 20-year bond. So, I mean, this thing has been stagnant all the way since 23. I think I've been talking about it for a year and a half now. But I've always said, don't put a lot of money into this because it possibly will not go to 100. Right? So we're nowhere near 100. And for those of you that knew, I took the call option at 100 and didn't work out. That's the name of the game. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Even our long-term trades that have a higher win rate. I got another one that's coming. We'll do better, but yeah, this one, I'm eating crow on this, man. So I have no problem saying this wasn't a good trade. But anyways, that's red money. How much red money do you have? How much can you afford to lose? That's the thing. Like, you have to be extremely careful when we have this red money debacle. Many of you are just like so worried and panicked. Do you see me flinching about the TMF trade? Do you see me flinching about gold? Like, gold will come down. Silver will come down. Do you see me flinching? No. As a matter of fact, if precious metals is at an all-time high, which they are, you should be taking at least 10, 15% out and protecting it. I know that's controversial, or I know that's emotional to say. You think I'm an idiot, but it is a trade. That's all it is. That's all it is. Like, legit, that's all it is. So let's pull up gold real quick. Man, when I tell people that they should sell some of their gold, they go crazy. It's absolutely insane how emotionally attached people are. Anyways, here is silver, guys. Let's take a quick look at silver. We have a huge buy signal. Our momentum's coming down a little bit on silver. That means the market's going up, guys. Trying to tell you, $64 this thing hit. Woo! $64. Like, hey, if you were with me from the get-go, we were buying this thing at $18.20. We thought that was kind of high. You remember that? That was many of our listeners were buying silver way before I was even born. And I'm 42. So, but yeah, we were talking about Cornerstone a long time, like way back over here. Yep. Bought it at 20, man. So if you were with me since 23, you know that I've liked silver better than gold. And here we are. This thing just took off. We're at 64. I think it might even hit 100. I think it could hit 100. I think it'll come back down a little bit. We'll see a little bit of sell off here, people taking off some profits. And then as AI continues to dominate and computers and the track, trace, and control, we'll start to see more silver push closer to 100 in maybe the next 6 to 12 months. So, but a lot of volatility. I mean, look, these bars here, 10-ounce bars from Cornerstone. And if you haven't had a chance to reach out to Cornerstone, go ahead. Those guys are awesome. But these bars are great, man. Like they ship them right to you. You use cash. You can send Bitcoin. You can send IRA transfers. They take all types of money. But reach out to Cornerstone. Get you a little bit of silver. They can even do monthly plans, like if you want to save into silver or gold or palladium. They can even do monthly plans. If you want to carve some of your IRA into precious metals, they can do that. But what I love about them is they're a faith-based company. They're aligned with us. They are a spirit-led company. So God bless them. They're doing great work. And they're affordable. They're not going to be screwing you over like a lot of these companies that are owned by the you-know-who's that are charging you 20, 30% to buy precious metals. And then they want to sell you these collectives. Guys, let me tell you, don't be buying collective special edition Mother Teresa bullions. Don't be falling for that crap. At the end of the day, they melt it in the pot. It's worth whatever the precious metal is at the melt price. That is it. Period. Punto. Final. Se acabó. Eso es todo. All right. So you buy your silver, buy plain Jane silver in the bars. Same thing with precious metals. They're just going to melt it and they're going to give you spot price. And that's it. These guys are awesome. They make a little bit. Yes, we need them to be profitable, as I should. This stuff's heavy, bro. This stuff is really, really heavy. And they got to ship it to you. They have to make a little bit of money. Generally, a good precious metal dealers want to make 10%. That is the mining of this, shipping of it, the molding of it, the individualized serial number on every single one of these wrapped. There are even some that have a QR code on them, every single one of them. So I remember this whole little stack here was probably worth like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe $1,000. Now this is probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is worth about 4,500. Just these 5 bars here. I mean, just nuts, absolute nuts. So a great asset to have. And I use these as props. I've used these things as props and they've gone up in value. Literally, I use these as podcast props. And they're heavy, guys. So be very careful. They're really, really heavy, but amazing pure silver. These guys are great. I love them to pieces. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for all you've done for Scriptures in Wall Street. And we've had him here, and he's a friend of the show. Reach out to them. And look, I lose money. I lose money recommending him. Like legit, I lose money. I make 1% on my advisory side. I make 1% a year on the safe money side. I lose money when I send money to him. So, but it's not about me. It's not about me making the money. It's about you being protected, you having ability to diversify those assets. And so I could totally bust out a bunch of scriptures saying that it is biblical to diversify your money in different areas. It's a higher counsel. But we need to stay wise, stay grounded, and stay faithful. So I hope you enjoyed those charts. One more I'm gonna do here. Let's see here. For those of you that like those crazy leverage trades, um, one thing I'm gonna look at is okay. All right. So I'm going to be looking at this pretty closely this weekend for a Monday trade, possibly. I'm getting a buy signal. I got one back in November of Thanksgiving. But if this Saturn rally really kicks off, we could be looking at a higher S&P, what it is now, and possibly the call options on this would be ridiculous. So right now it's trading at 218. We could buy, let's see here. We could be buying call options on this on SPXL. I'm going to be looking at this. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm just something for information education purposes only. You see this little dip here? There's a chance that it could just stop and come right back up on this Santa rally, supposedly, that they're propping up the markets. But right now, the price is at 220. Let's see where it's at. 223. Right now, the price is at. So maybe I look at 240. I'm sorry, a 230 strike price. This thing moves on average about $7.13 a day. So if it just farts, breathes, or moves north, it would be in the money, and we could buy some call options on this, which are fairly cheap right now, believe it or not. You could probably buy one contract for $200 or $300. I'm gonna look at it on Monday, Tuesday, and I'll podcast about it. But this is not investment advice. Just know that I'm looking into SPXL on a call option. Last time we did it, man, we were up. Woo! We were up a lot. I only put like, I don't know, $1,000, $2,000 in. I can't remember, but it was up like 1,000% for those of you that were interested in something like that. Again, it's not investment advice. This is something that I'm looking at. I don't recommend that you take this if you cannot afford to lose money. These are high risk trades, guys. High risk trades. This is not for green money. This is not for retirement. This is not for the retiree. This is not for the grandma or the person that cannot afford to lose. This is for someone that wants to speculate. Again, this is not investment advice. This is information purposes only. And this is just me giving content. However, these trades are fun, and you need to learn how to take advantage of the current marketplaces. With that being said, I'm extremely busy. I got to run to my son's hockey game. But hey, how cool is this? Did you guys even know that there's these like concierge barbers? They come to your house. Of course, you got to pay a little more, but check this out. Shout out to Lex Barber in Tampa, Florida. If you're ever here, he'll come to you. Got to pay him a little more than a regular barber, but he'll come to you, bust out the chair, bust out all the cordless stuff. Pretty amazing. So thank you, Lex, for the fade and the cut. God bless you. And anyways, for those of you that are interested in looking at your portfolio, I'm more than happy to help you. All you got to do is go to CortezWM.com or book an appointment with us online. You can call us 813-448-3446. Please like and subscribe our new Rumble channel and our YouTube channel, Scriptures and Wall Street. You can follow us there. Content's always dropped weekly. And for those of you that are interested in losing weight, come this New Year's resolution. Hopefully it's not a New Year's resolution. Hopefully it's a lifestyle. I can't stand New Year's resolutions. Anyways, let's lose some weight. Let's get unfat. Let's get healthy. Let's get sharp. Go to getmeleanusa.com. Get you the peak performance package. You can go on auto ship. You can cancel it. They're all animal-based and plant-based peptides. Never going to hurt you. If you're on GLP-1s or Ozempic, you can take these with your fat loss shot, and it would actually help you build muscle. A lot of those GLP-1s, they make you look like a skeleton. They eat your inside. Well, this is actually going to prevent that from happening. And more importantly, it's going to help you build muscle. You can look at my picture. I was a complete fat you know what. And I still am a little chubby, but I'm working on myself. It is not something easy. It takes time. And we all didn't get fat overnight. It took years for us to get fat and man boobs and all that. So let's work on ourselves mentally, spiritually, and physically. Guys, God bless you guys. Love y'all. Don't forget to go to Get Me Lean USA, get you some peptides. And with that being said, look forward to hear from you. The stories are amazing. CortezWM.com. We got some amazing things I'm going to be talking about for 2026 about passive income, using AI to help your businesses. For those of business owners out there, you're going to want to chime in because there's some things that are going to be changing your life. And I'm really, really excited about a lot of the plans and the technology that's out there. So God bless you guys. I'm out of here.
Unapologetic, I won't bow.